They made the finals, but their youth and roster issues are showing bad. Let's give the Spurs one final push on this edition of The Nest. Hello everybody, welcome back to The Nest RXP. My name is Rob and welcoming you back as we continue to rebuild our final two teams in the offseason. This has been such a long journey and I'm so glad to be almost done with it because while it's been a ton of fun, it's been a ton of fun making these videos. It's been very hectic doing each one of these teams. And obviously we're tackling the San Antonio Spurs today, a team that a lot of people are keeping their eye on, at least at the time that I'm recording this video. They are currently down 3-1 after blowing the largest lead in uh finals history. So they are a hot topic right now as I'm recording this, just for the reference of when I'm recording this. But yeah, the Spurs are a team that I was very interested. I've been thinking about for a while. I'm a relatively big fan of the team. I love a lot of their players. Stephon Castle's, Dylan Harper, obviously Wembanyama, but also guys like Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and Julian Champagnie. I love a lot of their players, and it's very hard for me to look at the Spurs team and find a player that I actually don't like. So I'm a big fan of that team, and I'm also very interested to see what they do and if they make any significant changes this offseason. But before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned to the TikTok and to the Instagram for more content when it comes to obviously short form content, but when it comes to like just the NBA on a day-to-day basis. So, I only made one significant trade with the Spurs this offseason. And realistically, I don't know if they're going to be making any trades because the trade I made is a trade with De'Aaron Fox. And I don't know if the Spurs are going to be super interested in moving off of him so quickly. And I don't know if they can move off him easily because of his contract. If they are looking to move off him, though, I think they should. This trade, I think, solves all their issues and balances out their team a decent bit more, and it looks something like this. So it's a three-team trade with the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. In this trade, the Grizzlies will acquire Dante DiVincenzo, picks 28, 35, 59, 42, and 44 from the Timberwolves and the Spurs collectively. The Timberwolves will acquire De'Aaron Fox, and the Spurs will acquire Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen, and Julius Randle. And you can obviously trade out some of those second round picks for future second round picks if the Grizzlies would prefer those. However, you would want to do it. Basically, a first round pick and 4 second round picks, or maybe a first round pick and then a protected first round pick as well. Now, why would teams do this? The Grizzlies, they get a ton of picks back. They get another first round pick for taking on Dante DiVincenzo's salary. The Timberwolves get their co-star alongside Anthony Edwards with De'Aaron Fox, who fits that team relatively well in my opinion. And for the Spurs, you get 2 backup guards plus a legit 4 to play alongside Wemby. And I think that's the key. The big issue that I've seen with the Spurs, especially in the finals, is that other than Victor Wembanyama, they are extremely small. Obviously, Luke Cornett as well. But you're basically playing Wembanyama and then 3 wings, or even 4 wings if you want to count De'Aaron Fox's wing, playing Victor Wembanyama in 4 wings or 3 wings and a guard, and there's a significant balancing issue when it comes to the rebounding. Like Julian Champagnie is a very good rebounder and he's holding his own very well, but he's more of a 3 in my opinion, and I think you need a legit physical 4 to play alongside Wemby as well, as specifically because Wemby is still he's not the strongest yet. He's not built, and he's probably may never be built if it may hurt his game if he does, but he's not going to be strong enough to really hold that position. So you need some physicality like Julius Randle at that 4 spot. And then the only pick that you haven't traded is pick 20. If now you may need to trade pick 20 instead of trading pick like 28 or whatever the case may be. Um, if you need to give up pick 20, that's cool. I would still do it in order to get Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen, and Julius Randle. I would definitely do that. But if you do get to keep the pick, I would take Jaden Quintons with that 20th overall pick. A nice little, I believe he's like a forward. He's like a forward center type player. Very young, very raw, can develop a bit, and he can grow into that, possibly that starting caliber 4 of the future. And for now, he can just kind of play off the bench and develop, kind of like Carter Bryant as well. Because you could very easily continue to start Julian Champagnie at that 4 spot and then start Carter Bryant as the 3 in a couple years once he develops a little bit more. I'm very high on all of these players, to be fair, but you're also setting yourself up for now and for the future. And other than that, yeah, that's it. Like I said, I just made one trade, and I think that solves the majority of their issues. Obviously, the spacing is still kind of an issue, but like Darren Fox wasn't a terribly good shooter. Julius Randle isn't a terribly good shooter either. They're both solid enough, and I think shooting is going to continue to be an issue. But between Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle continuing to develop their shooting, with Wemby getting smarter with his shots, and then getting Ty Jerome, Devin Vassell, and Scottie Pippen Jr., who are all pretty solid shooters, and Ty Jerome and Devin Vassell, obviously very good shooters, you're going to have enough shooting to make it work. I could easily see this team also maybe moving off of Luke Cornett. I was thinking about it, but I think for this offseason, I kept him with the team. But I was thinking about, okay, do I move Luke Cornett to try and get a more mobile five? A guy that's like gonna be like a different, like if Victor Wembanyama is a tower, getting a guy like Bam Adebayo who's more like a, not really a tower, but more like a mobile small ball five, kind of like a Bam Adebayo, Robert Williams type. But regardless, the team looks something like this now. So in the backcourt, you have Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, whoever you want to consider the point guard or the shooting guard. Take your pick. Julian Champagnie running the three, and Julius Randle starting at the four, with Victor Wembanyama at the five. Scottie Pippen Jr. and Ty Jerome running the two guards off the bench, with Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson at the three and the four, and Luke Cornett adds the back of five. You can also give minutes to Carter Bryant and Jaden Quintons. You could easily also just not use like Scottie Pippen Jr. You could not use Luke Cornett and just run a small five. You can do that as well. This team has a decent bit of versatility because of their depth and injuries and things like that happens throughout the season. I think this team will be very good at next man up mentality as well. And I just want to clarify, the reason I went and got Scottie Pippen Jr. and Ty Jerome is to have more ball handlers alongside Wemby. And that's another reason why I went with Julius Randle, because De'Aaron Fox, he's good on the ball, don't get me wrong, but he's inconsistent. So getting a guy who is arguably just as inconsistent as De'Aaron Fox, but also provides things like the physicality, like the rebounding, and also a solid playmaker as a point forward, not a true point forward, but kind of a point forward with Julius Randle, I think would be huge alongside Wemby. It also gives more space for Dylan Harper to come up and actually step into his role as a starting caliber guard. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. and Ty Jerome, they're both secondary ball handlers and primary ball handlers as well, off the bench anyway. So they will be big for this team when he comes off the floor, Dylan Harper comes off the floor. Now you have other guys that can step up and facilitate the offense. But yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you think about this rebuild. I'm very proud of this rebuild. The big issue is, like, do the Grizzlies agree to give up all these players for, or what the price would be for all these players for the Grizzlies to give up? I'm very interested to see how that happens. But I love this team with the rebuild. I love Scottie Pippen Jr. I think he's a perfect fit with this young Spurs team. Ty Jerome's obviously a beautiful fit, just another sharpshooter off the bench with Devin Vassell, with Keldon Johnson in them. And even if Scottie Pippen Jr. and Ty Jerome don't pan out the way you want to, you still have Carter Bryant, Jaden Quintons, and obviously Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle as well to continue to try and shape this team a little bit more as needed. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm very interested to see, because I'm a big fan of this rebuild and I want to see if y'all agree. And just again, remember to stay tuned for more content. And until then, y'all, peace.